In the years following James's death, Ralph and Denise continued their legal battle to keep their son's killers detained. Behind this public campaign, grief dominated their lives.
You have a couple who've lost their most precious child, and they're just in bits. There's support coming from family, great support from family and from general public. The cards and the messages of sympathy was just super and kept them going. But bottom line, you've got two people who are hurting extremely, hurting very much. And they're tearing themselves apart inside.
The night, I suppose, I'd more or less drink myself, and senseless. More or less stopped eating, kept drinking. In fact, I was just killing myself. But couldn't see it at the time. So now I suppose the pressure just got too much for me.
After the death of a child, that when you look at your wife, you look at your child's mother, you see that child even more so. You know, that there's a double reminder there. Also, for a wife looking at the father of her child.
Something like that, either brings you closer together, or it rips you apart. You just go your own ways. You go your separate ways. We turned into two entirely different people. Know what I mean? Two how can I put it? Like chalk and cheese. Know what I mean?
Ralph and Denise had been married for 4 years. Despite having a new baby son, the damage to their relationship had been too great.
I left Denise for me, for my sake, for what was going on in my head. Know what I mean? It weren't because I had another woman or, you know what I mean? It was something I had to do for myself. Otherwise, I'd probably, I don't know, I probably ended up stopping myself, to be honest with you. To be totally honest, I probably would have.
I actually think that Ralph and Denise did really well to hold their marriage together for so long after their bereavement. But obviously the pain and the hurting and the grieving was just too much. They were under such intense pressure, especially for Ralph.
That pressure was to continue. The petition to the European Commission of Human Rights, which Tom Laughlin had filed in 1994, was finally heard, 5 years later.
The two boys who were convicted of murdering James Bulger were denied a fair trial because their case was dealt with by an adult court. That's the verdict of the European Commission of Human Rights.
It was a horrific case, and it produced a historic ruling.
The court holds that there has been a violation of Article 6, Paragraph 1 of the Convention in respect of the applicant's trial.
The father of James Bulger says he's devastated that his legal attempt to block the early release of his son's killers has failed.
The law has taken its course, the politicians have been unable to interfere with it, and the result, John Venables and Robert Thompson are free on licence for the rest of their lives.
Took a life. They took a life they should pay for it. You know what I mean? They should pay for it, and they haven't. They're being rewarded for it. That's the way I think they have been rewarded for it. They've had the best of everything. Wrong message, the way I see it. That's the wrong message.
I realize there are a lot of people who say that justice has not occurred in this case because the two boys have not been punished. How would I answer that? I would answer that this way. First of all, both of these boys, at almost the youngest age imaginable, 10, were incarcerated for over 8 years in maximum security confinement. Now, in addition to the onerous incarceration which they suffered, they lost all the rest of their childhood and every bit of their adolescence. Indeed, they're totally different people now than they were when they were 10. And indeed, I would ask each adult out there that's listening to me, are you the same as you were at 10? There has been a lot of work done in the case of Robert Thompson and John Venables by their caretakers that seems to have gone wonderfully well. And all of that would be wasted if they were not in a legal position now to realize their full human potential. John Venables, he's blossomed tremendously. He made this for me. As you can see from that, is a very talented and creative person. He actually won a national award with making a ceramic peacock with multicolored feathers.
I'd just love Laughlin to be in my shoes for just one day. Thinking about me and James for just one day. Sit down, just think like what he's done, the consequences that it's had on us. You know what I mean? And instead of thinking about it, then just think just one day. That's all all I'd ask. Think one day and think what you've done. You know what I mean?
I think a society can and should be judged by the way it treats its children, and it's got to treat children like Robert and John humanely, even if it means paying for parents who have lost children. But unfortunately, a lot of times to accomplish the greater good in life, we have to go through some pain. Under the rule of law, justice has been done in this case.
The wound Ralph suffered at the loss, what happened to James, has been kept open. And it's been kept stirred. A court case keeps it open because it's just, okay, yes, we've had a funeral, but now we've got to face this. After that, they've got to face sentencing. After that, you've got to face appeals, reviews. And in a way, it just hasn't allowed the dust to settle. It's like still blowing around. It's like someone has kept the button on the kettle when it's boiling, and they just now let that button flip out. They just keep it boiling. But from Brab's point of view, he's not allowed to rest, really.
Well, I think without question it's been worth the cost to go through it. There may be millions of people who disagree with me or even hate me for doing that, but I say to them, every child is worth trying to save, and that includes these two little boys.
What about some care today? Kids who proper need it, you know what I mean? The state just doesn't care. Does not care at all. I know from first hand, I've had my heart ripped out. I've tried to fight the state, I've tried to work with the state. Where's it got me? It's got me nowhere.